Okay, everybody. The promised review of the Clutch Master cylinder that I installed last week is about to happen. I'm finally got a chance to take the car out and have plenty of time to get it warm and hot and make sure that it works under operating temp. I've got a couple of little short clips from the last week just to get you up to speed. But basically, my Clutch Master cylinder failed, and I installed a kind of upgraded one that Clutch Masters offers. So we are going to take the car for a drive, and then later we can start putting in some of these other parts that we have. But first we got to make sure the clutch is working. Okay, review time. This is the OEM Master Clutch cylinder, and I've had this OEM unit. I mean, it's OEM equivalent, probably not actual Subaru part. Just one you probably buy from AutoZone or O'Reilly's. It's been in the car for about 6 years, and it's crapped out. It's gotten to the point where when the car is warm, this cylinder gets heat soaked, and the seal doesn't quite seal anymore. And it's not pushing pressure when the clutch is depressed once it's warm. And that's basically making it so you can't depress the clutch to change gears or even put it in gear at idle. So what I'm going to do and review is this. Now this is the Clutch Master clutch cylinder. It's much more adjustable. It's also got some anodized aluminum pieces. And the interesting thing about this, it comes with a clutch line, all the banjo fittings you'll need, but it has a remote mounted reservoir with its own anodized aluminum piece that is actually really impressive. It's got a vent in it and everything. I'm very impressed with the workmanship, the craftsmanship of the parts. Everything seems very well machined. It seems like it should work very well. One of the benefits of going with something like this is it's got a much better cylinder in it, but it's also got a lot more adjustability, as well as there's no restriction valve for when you let the clutch out. In where the OEM model, if you let the clutch out, the clutch doesn't immediately depress. It's got a little bit of a lag time as it bleeds off pressure rather than just being depressed immediately. So I'm going to put this in and just kind of let you know how it feels different. I'm going to get it dialed in to the way I like it and go from there. Now I'm also doing an install video on this as well. So just so you know, if this is something you want to go with, there is also a resource out there on how to install it. The only place I feel like maybe they could have not gotten so chintzy is with this cotter pin. I feel like that's a pretty cheap option. But overall the installation went fine, other than finding a spot for this is difficult. If I didn't have a strut tower brace, I actually don't know where I would have mounted it. Because it has to be higher than the Clutch Master cylinder, obviously, and there's not a whole lot of space to do that. You know, Subaru's really good about putting all these wires along the firewall, so that's kind of a pain. You can't put it back there, and everywhere else is just so curved that the bracket they give you, that sideways bracket like that, makes it difficult. If they had a bracket where this was turned 90 degrees and flat, I think you could mount it, you know, anywhere on some of these unused posts on the intake manifold. So that could be something you could fab up pretty easily rather than doing it the way I did it. But it's working very well, so that's exciting. the clutch is a little bit spongier right off the get-go, and that may be that it's not maybe all the way bled yet. I'll have to kind of drive around and see. The throw for this master cylinder may just be different, and that might be what's causing that. But like the kind of initial push in is just, there's not much feedback there. But we'll see how it drives around. Like it definitely is working. It's getting the car out of it's disengaging the clutch and everything, but we'll have to see how it feels. So it releases pretty smoothly as I drop it on there. There's no valve. When you let off the clutch on your OEM master cylinder, there's like a restriction valve, so it only lets it out so quickly. I think it's going to be a little bit more touchy to drive, just because when you let off the clutch, it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. So there's no restriction that's slowly engaging that clutch when you let your foot out. But I also haven't driven this car in like a month or two, so. Okay, so I made it back home. The clutch seems to be performing very well. I guess the master cylinder. I think I need to make a few little fine adjustments. There's quite a bit of adjustments that can be made with that master cylinder, and that will kind of help maybe make the throw itself feel better. It's disengaging. It disengages quick. It's not any harder to drive, as far as I can tell. My last little test is I'm letting the car kind of sit here and idle and get really hot, and then I want to see if the clutch pedal feels squishy at all, because that'll indicate that I haven't gotten all the air out of the system, and it might be might need to be bled a little bit more. I don't think that's the case. I think pretty sure we got all the air out of it, but sometimes these things are finicky like that. So one of the things I mentioned was that it was kind of squishy upon that initial press. I've noticed as I've used it, it's actually gotten better. I don't know if maybe maybe it hadn't built pressure all the way yet when I first started driving it. I also don't know that, you know, the seal on it is something that might not lose pressure as it sits for a little while. That's how some of the stuff is. However, it feels a lot better. There's like an initial throw, and then it's like you actually depress the clutch, and I can see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so when you push the clutch pedal part of the way down, it's like it has this little play right here that nothing's actually happening, and that's how the OEM one was set up. And then you push it all the way down and it actually depresses all the way. I'm not having any problems. It's not depressing too far, but what was happening is it was getting stuck right here instead of popping up the rest of the way. So it seems to feel like it's back to normal now, and I'm pretty stoked about that. I would say that the Clutch Master's master cylinder is a good product. It seems like it's solid. It's definitely an upgrade from OEM. And the cost, realistically, if you're having to replace one, is not that much more than OEM anyways. Depending on, you know, what OEM equivalent you're getting. So, overall, I would say definitely worth the upgrade if you're doing one anyways. But as far as just buying it to replace a perfectly working one, I don't think I would suggest that. I haven't decided. It's not like that much better. I think the benefit is that it's going to be a lot more durable, and it's much more helpful for heavier clutches, aftermarket type applications. You're not going to need one of these in an OEM
power car with a normal clutch. So anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.